Welcome to the Teachers Lounge. I'm Ben Heckathorn, Teach, Lead, Inspire. I work with schools every day, and this podcast is a place teachers and leaders can edu-chat, grow your understanding of topics, hear stories, get motivated, and contribute to the discussion. The purpose of the Teachers Lounge is to encourage education professionals across Australia to teach well, lead well, and inspire. To really hone in on conversations we generally don't have the time to kick around, but should, to get clarity or even formulate your thoughts. So find our Facebook group, The Teachers Lounge, Teach, Lead, Inspire. Let's go! Welcome and thanks for tuning in. There are hopefully a few little pearls of wisdom that pop up. We are just going to write out a few short episodes before we, consolidate topics and guests and grow. So that's reassuring. So I suppose just visualize this as chilling in the staff room, shooting the breeze with your colleagues. And I suppose already that's going to be purely fiction, as that would never happen, as we never get the time to just chill and sit and shoot the breeze in the staff room. But at the end of the day, sometimes we don't just get the time to kick the can around on education discussions. For example, things like, when was the last time you fleshed out thinking about time release? Do you like short blocks or large blocks? Opinions on homework, where that fits? Do you like quiet or collaborative classroom? Or perhaps you're not heard on your team and it's just always overlooked. How do we deal with that? So the Teachers Lounge has been stemmed out of, the idea and research that teaching is sort of a misunderstood job. It's lonely and even more so some of those leadership roles can be quite a lonely place as well. There's not a lot of places to soundboard or talk, because sometimes schools and the communities are quite small and, you might share something or a concern and word gets around. Now, I'm lucky enough to be married to a teacher, or perhaps not, but there is a mutual understanding between us of what the teaching job entails, and we're quite lucky because others don't have that luxury of understanding. Where one of the partners might be like, "Why are you always at work?" Or "Didn't you just do parent-teacher interviews?" And so we have that understanding together where, as I said, sometimes it may not be there for other families. Now, I've got a Facebook group for the city I'm currently in, which is a bit of fuel for the fire for the Teachers Lounge. And I was considering dipping into some of those topics that have popped up in the socials, things like, how has your 40-hour week blown out? What are those tedious, annoying tasks that you always do? Yard duty, morning hacks. Now, I'm actually in the process of making a group for Teachers Lounge specific nationally, just to dialogue in this space and add value. There's many teacher, state or territory-based groups out there that, name it, I'm probably a part of it. But they, I did some statistics on it, caught the data. I forget specifically what it was, but only about 10% of the posts in a lot of these groups are this, that dialoguing, that edu chats, what's going on, queries. The other 90% was split up between these three things: sales pitches from, education providers that have, resources, or teachers pay teachers stuff, or another one was schools or leaders from schools pitching their jobs, or others was graduates or other teachers asking for jobs. What jobs are out there? So 90% of these teacher groups are essentially like a posting notice board. And for me, I'm like, I want that 10%. I want that real raw. Where are these chats? Where are these kicking the can of these ideas and fleshing out opinions? Where are they? And so, the Teachers Lounge is that. So, as I said, just in the process of setting that up and ensuring that it won't be a posting notice board for schools and people will get kicked out pretty quickly. Just as I've been kicked out for promoting the podcast. Anyway, now we're just going to get into a short powwow, and I've figured that, no, we're not going to talk about those things or talk about me, but actually the topic of the value you bring as an educator. And yeah, we're just going to get into it for, one bang, two bang, three. And hopefully, actually, I was just taking some notes down for this, and it would have actually been really helpful to have someone else just to kind of soundboard board these ideas. But until then, you've got me. Great. So, yeah, number one. So, looking at the value you bring as an educator. And before I do get into that, the premise of this is a number of conversations I've had with teachers this year and possibly flowing back into last year as well about, why am I doing this? Why am I working such long hours? Why are the students doing this? What's the point? What's the meaning of all this? And so it's kind of this idea has been birthed out of that to kind of speak life back into you. And maybe you have been asking some of those questions. So I've got 3 points here that I just love to unpack and share, and hopefully, even if one one person gets some value out of this, that will be fantastic. So the first point I had was teachers create a lasting impact on students' lives. So just going a little bit further into that, I've kind of broken it down into some of my ideas. So think about the lasting impact. School goes beyond academics. Impact goes beyond the academics. The relationships that educators build with students often leave a lasting impression that goes beyond the curriculum. So basically, teachers serve as their role models, their mentors, sometimes even parental figures as well. If you think about the numbers, we have students. Was it 35 hours of the week, of which 60, if they're awake for 12 hours a day. I'm just talking the weekdays, not the weekends. But we have them for over half of their waking hours during the working week. And so that is influential. That is impact. We are speaking into that space more than their parents are as far as time during the week goes. And so, that lasting impression that needs to go beyond the curriculum. We have this great chance to impact students' lives. We inspire personal growth as well. We're helping students develop resilience, confidence, critical thinking skills that shape their futures. So educators are empowering growth, which kind of links into that lasting impact on students' lives. So, you walk away from the end of the day and you can be confident that you are inspiring personal growth into your students. And another one is the concept of lifelong influence. So if you think about the lasting impact can replace students' life with, John's life, be specific about it. Get someone into your head. So an educator's influence can extend into students' adulthood, affects their career choices, their values, life decisions. But perhaps you're one of those, quote, experienced enough teachers to have maybe seen you taught year one and you've seen them graduate and then hit uni and then they graduate that. Maybe they're starting to work with you, which is quite scary. But you can see that even if it was 1 year of influence, and it may have been you, it may not have been, I don't know, but it's nice to think that we have influenced their life. And now, their work, I've seen it. I've seen that cycle happen. I would love to share just a quick anecdote of a student I had. It was a year six class I was teaching at the time, year 5, 6 composite class. Yeah, I actually left that particular school after, I think it was the following year. So she was in year 7 there, and then I left and did some leadership stuff at another school. So she did, years 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, graduated. But this particular student, and I'll leave the name out because, education circles are quite small and who knows, they could actually be teaching. But this student, year 6 girl, was very difficult. Had the attitude, the sass, and just brought that unashamedly into the classroom and, rallied troops on her side and finished the year with her. It was a faith-based school, so I was able to give her a Bible at the end of her year, graduating year 6, and yeah, didn't really hear from her since until one One evening, I was at the pancake parlor. This is in Melbourne at the time, and she would have been maybe 2 years out of year 12. I saw this girl just at another table, or a woman, I suppose. I was like, oh, she's so familiar. I was like, oh, it's that person from year six. And I was with a big group of people. It was, I think, maybe my nephew's birthday. And so I looked over and then didn't think twice about it. And just kind of stuck in my head until I think their table was leaving. And then, yeah, she got up and came over to me and said, oh, Mr. Heckathorn. It's like, hey, how are you? It's like, oh, my goodness, I haven't seen you for years. And had a quick chat with the person. And, what are you up to? Blah, blah, blah. And yeah, she was actually had got her life together. And she's this beautiful, from that little conversation that we had, switched on, driven, purposeful woman. She was joining the military in a particular role and had this vision and just really halfway through, just she stopped and thanked me. It's like, Mr. H, you're the one teacher, and I know, and I'm sorry for the amount of grief I put you through. But thank you so much for investing that time into me, for, handing me that Bible. I read that daily. And, just the words of, life and inspiration you shared every day might not have been to me personally, but I was listening. And, I'm doing the army, I go to church, I do this, I've got these friends, my family's back together. And yeah, so hopefully that was that's a snapshot of that lifelong influence. So I had this girl for a year, like in year six. Like in the grand scheme of her life, it's nothing, but there was something that connected, and something that you, I suppose, as well would be able to connect with a student or all your students. And yeah, just to note that the lifelong influence is that factor is such a value add to what educators do. Second point, as teachers, we shape the future of society. I'm going to go into that. So educators, they teach values. Now, whether you realize it or not, what you're modeling is empathy, responsibility, social awareness. All these things contribute to shaping responsible and engaged citizens. And again, this is where I'd just love to soundboard with someone, but just got me today. And each year, I'm seeing some sort of, I'm going to call it societal degradation. Social awareness is decreasing. Owning responsibilities is decreasing. And it's quite noticeable. And those in education, you're stepping into that gap. And I suppose there's arguments now about, the role of the teacher versus parent, as we see some parents neglecting this parental responsibility and kind of falling to the teacher's space. And again, that's another topic. This is great. Fuel for the fire, Ben Heckathorn. So teachers are, shaping the future of society through cultivating this, what we call citizenship, how your student belongs in society. You're modeling that. And speaking of society, we're also driving innovation. If you think of the future and the future of humanity, and we're not solving world problems here or anything, but innovation is so important. Educators, they're fostering creativity and curiosity in students. They, in the classroom, are laying down the groundworks for future leaders, innovators, change makers. I lead a pre-service teacher, which is those studying like a formational learning group. And one thing we are unpacking at the moment, it's just time context. We're in semester 2 of the year. We're looking at the curious and courageous teachers and modeling the willingness, almost to go down, for teachers to go down what we call rabbit holes. The willingness for teachers to deviate from their prescribed curriculum or whatever it is, even to inspire that one student's curiosity of all learning. And that is what drives innovation. So thinking back to this girl that I inspired through year 6, and she's doing great now, we driving in the things we say, model, do, and that willingness to kind of be interested in them drives innovation. So again, never know that value add to a student. It could simply be that one time you talked about hydrogen cars or whatever it is, and they could end up being in that space, in that field. We just don't know, but it's still a value add. And thinking about the again futurist society, the concept of building community. Now, schools serve as what we call a petri dish. By the way, I'm by far no scientist, as many science metaphors I've thrown in today. But schools are a petri dish of society where educators play a critical role in fostering a sense of belonging, collaboration, and respect. My take is that schools are sometimes too insular, focusing on them and not so much offering hope to the hurting community in their neighborhood. You might hear my studies here of, I've done community development postgrad coming out. So, shaping the future of society. So schools are a great place for building community, and you as a teacher are building a classroom community, and that is a great model for them to birth out into their own communities. You can kind of see that flow and effect from closed school community, family community, larger community, and then you go state-based, territory, nationally. How you got to start small, and that is with the classroom and the student. Yep. So what do we got? We got creating a lasting impact. So students' lives, shaping the future of society. And the third value add as educators is a little bit abstract, and kind of cyclical. So as an educator, you're inspiring professional and personal growth. So one in yourself, but by doing that yourself, inspires others. So I'm going to, again, unpack, keyword of the day, this idea of personal fulfillment. As hard and as brutal as the teaching profession is, there's immense personal satisfaction and a sense of purpose that comes from, seeing students succeed and knowing that you've helped make a difference in their lives. Again, a hot topic it can be as far as the the teaching profession, purpose, all those things. But at face value, think about the three P's of life: purpose, play, people. Purpose is a huge factor to your life's peace index. Many people, they're sitting in deadbeat jobs. What's the point of life kind of situations. So for a fulfillment aspect, how is it inspiring this professional and personal growth? Well, for example, I'm not the storyteller between my wife and I. She is. But I know that when we're at a party or a gathering, whatever, when she shares these teaching stories, I'm quite happy to watch while she shares the stories. People are inspired. Now, whether it's family or niece and nephew, they are inspired by listening to these stories. And the value you bring to close friends and family grows and spreads what we call this inspiration of professional and personal growth. So there's a personal fulfillment in being an educator there. We touched on before about lifelong learning. The teaching profession encourages continuous learning. And with that idea of, we've never arrived. For example, imagine Margaret. She graduated in 1980 to teach. She hopefully she would not be pitching to the executive team to bring back stone tablets and the cane. Educators are, they are constantly adapting to new pedagogical strategies. Technology, AI is rife at the moment, and societal changes, as we outlined before. Hence, this lifelong learning which educators bring challenges complacency, and it shifts the needle forward step by step. So as a profession, there's professional growth and personal growth, and that is what a value that educators bring. And in that space of personal, professional, and growth, we inspire it. Leadership development. Educators often take on leadership roles, whether in the classroom or in their school or community, and it's contributing to their own professional growth and impact. plus having that capacity to also lead others. Another hot topic, not for today, is leaders in schools. Um, but in critiquing, the leadership trajectory and querying how a leader can possibly lead others if they can't lead themselves effectively first, that is a topic for another day, which I'll happily unpack. But there are 3 points, and I'm going to kind of wrap those up there in a little bundle. But there's a profound and a multifaceted value that educators, which is you, which is me, and about 300,000 others across Australia bring. And sometimes it's easy to lose sight of the value that you do bring. Now, perhaps you're a first year grad, or maybe you're a leader in your school. Maybe you're done contemplating a career change. I don't know. But do remember this, and they're the 3 things that you bring as value as an educator. Number 1, you create a lasting impact on students' lives. Number 2, you shape the future of society. And number 3, you inspire professional and personal growth. So I'm going to wrap up there. Thanks for listening to me ramble on. I'd love to get some guests in, maybe have someone to kind of soundboard ideas, and I will catch you on the next episode. Cheers. Thanks, guys. There we go. Thanks for listening to this episode release of the Teachers Lounge podcast. I really do hope you've enjoyed the dialogue. The information discussed today was just that, information only. It's not specific advice. If you take action on something you've heard today, it's important to make sure that you get professional advice about your unique situation before you proceed, whether that advice be legal, financial, accounting, medical, or otherwise. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or if there is anything I can do to support your teaching or leadership journey, whether it's another topic you'd like discussed or one-to-one support. If you do know someone that would benefit from listening to this episode, please remember to tell them about it, share the episode with them, or connect us on socials. I trust you're encouraged in your role, your leadership aspirations, and your ability to serve and inspire. That's it. Go do well.